In this video, we're going to be looking at substitution. Our objectives: understand what substitution is, understand how to substitute within math problems. Our vocabulary: substitution, putting a number, variable, or expression in for a variable. Basically, we have a variable in a math problem. We're going to put something in its place so that we can hopefully do a little bit more math with it. So here I have an example type of problem that I'm going to just show you some of the things that can happen. We're not going to get as in-depth as this gets, but we will look at some of these basics. So what I have is I have a math problem: 2b minus ac plus 5d. And I know that a is 4, b is x, c is 2x plus 1, and d is negative 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the things that equal in. So I've got 2, since it's next to the letter b, it's really multiplication. So I've got 2 times b, which is x. So I'm going to take b out and put x in its place. It doesn't really help us with the problem. Just want you to see that we can flip-flop variables at any time that we need to. Then we've got minus. Our a value is 4, so we're going to bring down a 4 there. A letter next to a letter means times. Then we've got c, which is 2x plus 1. Anytime you have something more than just one number, you need a parentheses around it when you put it in. So 2x plus 1. And then we've got plus 5 is next to d, so we need a time sign in there. And we're going to put in negative 9. A lot of times a good thing with negative numbers is to put a parentheses around them. You don't have to with all negative numbers, but there are certain cases where it's important. Okay, now let's actually substitute and do the math. So here what we've got is A, B, and C, and we're going to put them into each of these problems and figure out the answers. And then I've got one more problem that has fractions in it. So we've got 5. Since it's next to A, we're going to put times. A is 4, so we bring that down. Minus, our B is negative 3. Because we're squaring the negative 3, we need parentheses around it, because we're squaring all of b, which means we're squaring the negative and the 3. Plus a is 4 again. Since it's next to b, that's a time sign. And b would be negative 3. So now we've rewritten the problem, no variables in it. We can actually do the math. So just a quick refresher on order of operations. Parentheses first, no math inside. So we go to the exponent. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. Bring everything down around it. Okay. Then we have multiplication or division. Here's multiplication on the left. That's going to be 20 minus 9 plus 4 times negative 3. Okay. Subtract, add, here's multiply, so we've got to do that. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Bring down a plus, 9 minus 20. So we have 20 minus 9 is on the left, adding on the right, so we're going to subtract first. 20 minus 9 is 11 plus negative 12. Adding a negative is the same as just subtracting. So 11 minus 12 is negative 1. Notice, substitute, do the math, get our answer. Okay, here we have to substitute again. A by C means multiply, so we've got 4 times 2.1 over 2 minus B, which is negative 3. Notice, minus negative 3, we've got to put both minus signs in there, even though some people will think that since there's a minus there, we don't need the negative part. We do. It's important. So we've got to do this multiplication on top first. Going to give us 8.4 over 2 minus negative 3. Got to divide before we subtract. So that's going to give us 4.2 minus negative 3. Minusing a negative is the same as adding. So this is really 7.2. Alright, now let's do a fraction problem. Alright, so here I have 3 numbers and a math problem. We're going to substitute it in. X is 3 over 2. Divide by z, which is 5. Because we're dividing with a fraction, what I would do is I would write it with a 1 underneath. Now that I've made it a fraction, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with. Plus y, which is negative 1/4, times z, which is 5. And again, I would make that 5 a fraction, just so that everything's a fraction, and we're using the same rules the whole time. So, in this problem, it looks like division is on the left, so we've got to do that before we multiply. No parentheses, no exponents, go straight into multiply, divide. So, that's going to be 3 over 2 times, change to multiplication, flip to 1 over 5, and then we actually do the math. It's going to give us 3 over 10. So we've got 3 over 10 plus negative 1/4 times 5 over 1. Now we're going to actually do the math on the bottom, or the multiplication here. So this is going to be straight across. This is already multiplying. So negative times positive is negative. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 over 10 there. Adding a negative is like subtracting. So now we have 3/10 minus 5/4. So we need a common denominator between 10 and 4. If we count by 4s, we're going to get to 20. If we count by 10s, we're going to get to 20. So I'm going to use a common denominator of 20. Could use something else, but 20 is the smallest one. So we're going to get 20 here and 20 here. Okay, you change a 10 into a 20 by multiplying by 2, so do that to the top. You get 6. Multiply by 5 for 4, and you get 20. So do the same thing to the top. 5 times 5 is 25. We're subtracting, so here's our math problem. 6 minus 25. Use your AB rules, and we should get negative 19. Keep our denominator of 20. Our answer is negative 19/20. Alright, substitution is really just an added step into the order of operations. So we're basically going to just continue practicing the order of operations. If there's any part of this that you need to watch again, please rewind, rewatch, and bring any questions to class. Thank you.